You've cracked the code.
Yes, you got to bypass the schools.
Yeah, but
So
it's a what?
you
But
have to,
you're still you're going to the schools on. It sounds like the Instagram page,
yeah.
and as you crawl the Instagram page on the school, you find students on that either they've hashtagged and then you start going out hunting, finding their Instagram page, seeing something interesting, as you said, engaging, giving them some love. From that, there's a conversation started. Then there's
Mhm.
an invitation. Don't look now, but I would call that the Summit Supersonic Secret. This is how you recruit people because even if you can't get into a school, it doesn't matter. You freaking cracked the code.
Yeah, you have to do something because if you sit there and you wait for somebody to come to you, they're never coming. They're never. I remember thinking last year, it wasn't until October I hired my first associate. And that was when Katie, I was like, I can't keep you with me anymore. Like she was like half a stylist, half an associate. And it was a mess. She was really just doing me a favor at that point. And when I got my first one, it's like, then the ball got rolling.
Oh man, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna change your name. You're gonna be the AKA. You know how to hack and hack the system and crack the code because that would get the Academy Award for the secret sauce of finding people. The essence of a great idea is that it's simple, and that's so simple.
Mhm.
Your idea is simply genius. So we're going to give it up for you for sharing that. Now, pivot to because how what got my attention is you did a post, I don't know, must have been a month ago, about maybe a couple weeks or so, where you said I pivoted from on the 30 to on the 45 and I was freaked out about it and blah blah blah. Tell us about that part.
Oh God, that was really scary. So I had this goal of hitting $20,000 a month in hair. And my coach was like, well, you know the difference between where you're at now, and my average was about 10, 11 thousand a month. And she's like, the difference between that and that is, it's another associate. You need to hire another associate. And at that time, I was realizing that I wasn't doing the associate program 100% right. So I listened to all the audio and everything, and they said, book on the 45. And I was like, well, how does this work? And Shannon told me, she's like, you got to do your haircuts first and then do your colors after. And I was like, oh, I still don't know about that. Like, I really do think I could still get more people in. But again, having that faith and trusting the system, just going for it and figuring, well, maybe I can get to a point where I can then book on the half hour and then still do it the same way. So anyway, so that is the next goal. But basically, I decided to start changing the way that I booked. And I started doing all haircuts and colors at 45 minutes. It doesn't matter. Anybody just gets a 45-minute spot. And I adjusted my books to do so. And, really that has changed everything because now when I get that haircut only client, instead of maybe only being booked for only enough for a haircut, I'm like, well, I know I have enough time for a color. So why don't I just ask you if you want a color? I mean, I had one week where I had like 5 haircut onlys on the books. And I asked all of them, I'm like, do you want some color? Like some highlights would look really great. And all but one of them said yes. And the one that said no said, oh, I would love to do that. Let's book that for the next time. I don't have time today, but let's do that the next time. And I'm like, oh, wow. I just added like probably close to $1,000 on my books within that month, that one week. Like that was crazy. And that's really like, if you look at the growth that I've had, when I finally just changed the mindset and changed the story that I was feeding myself because I kept telling myself that's not going to work. And then it did.